Hey guys, welcome to Your Best Interviews. My name is Eric Smith. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. If this is helpful, please share with others. My goal is to help as many people as possible during this time. And I know there's a lot of places you can go to get this information, so I do appreciate you spending it here with me. Today, what I want to talk about is building confidence for the interview. There's really two main ways that I would say you can really build your confidence going into an interview. The first one is practice, which I'll dive a little bit deeper into. And the second one is actually interviewing, which again, I'll dive a little bit deeper into. So the first one, practice. When I say practice, I don't mean practice it a handful of times by yourself in a room without anyone there. The reason people practice that way and the reason people usually fail when they practice that way is because interviewing is uncomfortable. Talking about yourself is uncomfortable. Selling yourself is uncomfortable. And answering a lot of the interview questions that you're going to get asked is uncomfortable. And so a lot of people do this in private. They don't want to include a lot of people because it's embarrassing or, for whatever reason. But what you need to do is you need to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. And so when I say practice, I want you to practice with your friends, with your parents, with people that would be awkward to practice with. The whole goal is really to put yourself in this uncomfortable position. So ask your best friend to conduct a very serious interview. Give them a list of questions, and your goal should be to answer this in the most straightforward way without losing your composure and laughing. Again, you're just trying to put yourself in these awkward, uncomfortable positions because this is what builds that confidence muscle and kind of builds that callus to where you can go into an interview and be uncomfortable and still perform really well. And so you want to be practicing the uncomfortable. You want to practice with as many people as possible. And then outside of that, you want to practice with yourself. I always say the best way to do this is practice in front of a mirror. It's really weird to look at yourself in a mirror and answer questions about yourself and to see yourself talking, to see if you're smiling or you're talking with your hands. I'm doing it right now in front of the camera and I can see myself, and it's always weird. So practice in front of a mirror and practice answering your questions over and over and over. You really want to drill this in. If you're practicing each answer 10 times, I'm telling you right now, that's not enough time. If you're going for a job that could be your dream job or potentially open a lot of different doors for you, you really need to think about this as this is something that sets you up for your future. And so if you're only pouring an hour or 2 or 3 hours into preparing, that's just not enough time, right? And so this is something that, every answer that you're preparing for from the interview questions, I would say practice them 50 to 100 times. Like do it to the point where you know your answer inside and out. And when you're preparing for that first opening question of tell me about yourself, you should have that drilled, like scripted out, but also drilled to the point of you don't have to look at a piece of paper. You know exactly what you want to say. You know the exact points you want to really emphasize. These are the things that you're drilling, right? You're doing it over and over into the point of it's second nature for you so that when you get into the interview, you're not getting stumped. You're not, blanking on a question. It's truly second nature. So even if you do, get stumped, you instinctively can give that answer because you've done it hundreds of times and you've done it in so many different scenarios. You've done it in front of a mirror. That's the type of practice I'm talking about, is put yourself in really uncomfortable positions and make sure that, you're getting yourself ready for the interview. So when it actually comes, you're almost excited. You're almost excited to actually get it over with because you've practiced it so many times that you're sick of practicing, that you're just eager to get the real thing going. So that's the type of practice I want you to get your mind wrapped around, and that's the type of practice that I really want you to commit to so that you can crush your interview. And then the second one is you have to get real live interviews under your belt. And this is why I say apply broadly, apply to a lot of different jobs, and when you get these interviews, take them. Even if it's a company that you're like, I don't know if I want that company, or I'm pretty sure I don't want that company. If you get the opportunity to do a phone interview or an in-person interview, or better yet, a video interview, do it. I promise you, when you get the first couple interviews under your belt, you realize that it's not as scary as you think. And you're building your confidence so that when you go into the interview that you really are interested in, you've got a few of them under your belt, you've got all the practice done and behind you. And so you can just go and really kind of release that nerves and those tensions that tend to hold a lot of people back, and just put your best foot forward, because that's ultimately the goal, is put your best foot forward, eliminate as many nerves as possible, and increase your odds of moving forward in the process. So practice very differently, spend a lot of time there. That will ultimately set you apart, and I promise you, give you the leg up. And then the second one is take as many interviews as possible before you go into those really important key ones. Even if it's like, hey, I know I'm not going to take that. If you have the opportunity and it doesn't take a lot of resources, take the interview, get the experience. It will make you more confident and a better interviewer. I promise you that. So good luck. Check out my website and free resources for a lot more insight into these areas. Good luck.